Mark. Thanks for joining us. We'll see who else ends up joining us too. So, many people have asked me to make an scale size of my dungeon I'm working on. And I've been asked by so many people, I decided to go ahead and start making one. The part that takes the longest to make, obviously, is the actual cell itself. And I thought, you know what? I was getting ready to pull this thing apart. Hold on a second while I test my audio. Let's see, audio check. 1, 2, 3. Let's see, audio check. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that sounds good. All right, so I was getting ready to take this apart. I just pulled it off the printer a few minutes ago, and you can see when it first comes out, it's pretty rough, and it's got all the supports in here that I have to take apart and get off there. So all the little bricks have supports all over, and then here's the door with a big old support across it, and you can kind of see how it looks all inside there. Let me grab an extra light and toss it on there. There we go. Hooray. So I figured, you know what the heck, I might as well show you guys on video how I do this. So I got some tools here that I use to take off all the pieces. Now you can see for height wise, this is about the right height for the Origins as it was to the Classics one. Yes, the door is shorter than they are, that's by design, but the cage itself is taller than they are, so they can fit inside there easily. And so, of course, I still have to print the top, the gate, the floor, and the window, and then all the four little pieces that hold the top on. Now, after I finish this, I also take, hey Dean, thanks for being here. I also take and coat this in resin so it looks a lot better, than of course do my black washes on it and stuff. So this one will be available for sale eventually on eBay when I get it done in about a week or two, depending on how long it takes me to finish it. Now I do have to sand it, so obviously the sanding takes a little bit of time too. Right now I don't have my Dremel tool with me, so I can't start sanding it yet, but I should hopefully have it back probably by Monday, I'm guessing. So then I'll be able to sand this nice and smooth, and that will be cool. So you can see it is taking off all these little supports here. So kind of fun to see how the printer goes about making this. Now, if you're not on my Instagram yet, you can check that out. I have a little video kind of showing this running last night. It was in a reel. So you can look at that little video and see what it kind of looks like, why it was printing. It's a pretty slow process. This particular print took a day and 18 hours to print. So, like I said, altogether, it takes about a week and a half. Well, it took 2 weeks to print the large one. This one's going faster because it's smaller, and of course has less pieces to it. Now, it's funny. Hold on a sec. I want to grab my garbage can so I'm not dropping these pieces all over the place. It's funny is my granddaughter one time came over to visit when I was making one of these dungeons, and I was just pulling it off the printer, just like I'm doing here, and she wanted to keep some of the scrap pieces that come off. Now you can see as these come off, they leave like little strings and stuff. Those will all be sanded off later, and once you do the resin fill in, it just looks nice and smooth. It'll be really cool once it's all done. Hold on, I got a corner piece down here I got to pull off. There we go. Let me look at your guys' comments and see what you guys are saying. You making one? Yes, I've been waiting for it. Yep, Mike, this is the one. It might be the only one. I'm not sure how many I'm going to make because, like I said, they're a pain to make. So be prepared when it's released to bid on it on Fleabay. And I know it kind of stinks because I know sometimes the prices will get kind of high on eBay. But again, I'm not sure how many when you're making, so when I actually made the other one, the Classics one, I only made 3 of them. One I sold on eBay, one I made for a friend directly, and then one I made for myself, and I still have it. So those are the only 3 that I made for the classic size ones. Oh, so this is still trapped in there. I have to wait until I get some more pieces free before I get that off. So the last thing I printed had black in it, and you could see the support structure right here is when it first started printing, and it was still getting the black filament out of there before it was able to get it. There we go. Look at that big giant chunk coming off there. So this is the fun part, trying to get the window out of there, because this window piece, it's flared on both sides. So when it prints the supports, sometimes it will have it higher on the two sides, so it takes a lot of effort to get that one off. But the rest are pretty easy to get off. So this one I may have to beat out of there with a hammer. We'll see. When I first made these originally, I used to have the actual bars in here while it was being printed. And I found out that then trying to get the support pieces out were super hard, because obviously you're not able to, let's try this out. Yeah, it's stuck in there pretty good. I figured it would be time to grab the old pliers and try to yank this thing out of there. Hey, hooray, I got it out. So you can kind of see the edges are kind of flared on here. So it kind of does that kind of thing. So when I go to put the window back in, it has the same type of thing where when you go to stick it in, it just sticks in so hard that it just stays in place. Now for the big piece. This is kind of fun to remove. And this is the piece my granddaughter said she wanted. So, there we go. And it's funny, it looks almost like some kind of crazy door. And I almost hate just wasting this plastic for these big little chunks this way. Because, you know, it's like, isn't there something you could use for customizing these? So, anyway, there is the first piece. And again, it's going to take some sanding, some resin painted on it, and then some shading techniques on it. When it's done, it's going to look really cool and really smooth. So it's crazy how much smaller this one is than the Classics one. I say you should make a Church of Hebrew. It'd be a fun build. That'd be kind of cool. All right, so let's get the other one out and take a look for size-wise. Oh, that was huge. All right, gotta move all these figures over to make room for this thing to land. So there's the size difference between the Classic size and the Origin size. So you can see there's quite a bit of difference in the height. And then even in the size of the box, I could probably put this one inside this one. So you can kind of see the size difference. So, but again, it'll be cool once it's all printed and done. All right, so I still got to print the skull. I forgot about that too. And now I have that glow-in-the-dark stuff, so I'll be printing the skull and glow-in-the-dark. This one is not going to have the extra skeleton, though. I'm having a really hard time trying to print the skeleton again. Every time I do, it just breaks. And so it's not going to have the cool skeleton. Hey, Casey, thanks for joining us. There is some ways to recycle the extra plastic. You have to run it through some kind of chipper thing. Some guy was talking about it online, and then make little pellets out of it, and then somehow melt them and make strings. It's not a very easy process. I kind of wish they had some place you could send them to have them recycle it and make more filament out of it. But I suppose trying to separate the colors might be a pain. But I don't know anybody locally that does it. But it just kills me to waste that much. All that excess plastic being wasted for nothing. It's like, man. All right, well, this video is just to be a short video, just part one. As I print more parts, I'll make more videos to show you. And then eventually I'll videotape putting the resin on. This should be easier to resin coat this one because it's smaller, which will be cool because, of course, the Larger one took a long time to resin coat it. And then, of course, putting all the wash on takes a while, too, to get the wash just right. Now, do you guys like the way the wash is on this? I know some people have complained about the way I do the wash. I think it looks really cool. But let me know your opinion, if you like my wash job or not. I think the wash on the floor actually came out the best. I think the way the floor came out just looks really cool. I wish I could copy that same look on the walls just as easy, but because the floor is flat, I can just stick it on a giant cookie sheet and do my wash and let it dry for a few days. So unfortunately, on a surface that's rounded and goes around, you can't do the wash the same way. I do each side separate to try to make it look the best it can when it goes around, but again, you still have some issues with trying to do it that way. All right, so let me slide that back, put this one back in front. So for those that are new, if you've never seen where this comes from, I will show you where I got the design for this in the Power and Honor Foundation book. This book is pretty cool. It has some great prototype designs and stuff of things they've made. And here, oh, this is so cool. Look at that. That was the original Snake Mountain concept, having some kind of jungle playset. That'd have been cool. And here's another playset they had, and eventually they combined them into one, making Snake Mountain. But here is the original dungeon they were going to make a long time ago for the figures. Now the top is actually just looks like sticks on there, like someone used popsicle sticks almost and some twigs. But I didn't like that design, and so I actually modeled mine after the sticker. Oh. And this is based on the sticker of the dungeon on the inside, the Well of Souls, and I actually took that to make my design. And I thought that's way cooler, because then this could be your Well of Souls right here, and you could put it at floor level of your castle and somehow raise your castle up and make this the Well of Souls that the bad guys fall into. So there you go. Now you have the history of how I came up with the concept dungeon remake and why I made my choices that I did. Now the original concept, the sides actually could fold in and become smaller. I actually like the big solid box. It's pretty strong and solid that way. So I have thought about making it 4 separate parts for easier shipping, but I think this way is way better. So, hey, thanks, Greenwash. I appreciate it. Let me see if I can see your name. My name is Green Vash. Green Vash? Oh, you like the wash too? Thanks, Mike. Hey, Casey, thanks for joining us. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I'm going to go downstairs and print the next part. I haven't decided what I'm printing yet next, whether it's going to be the top or the floor or these pieces here. They're printed in different colors, as you can see. I print this, the window grate, the grate on top, and the grate in front in silver, and then I print the base in gray, and then of course this is in glow in the dark. So that way it looks cooler than just one solid color for everything. All right. Yep. Sorry I'm not making more. I know your people are like, man, just make a ton of those, but it just takes so much effort to make them. And you can see the difference. I mean, look at this. See how rough this is? This is after the resin's on, and it just looks super smooth and feels smooth because it has that resin coating covering all the roughness. Now the top still has some roughness on it. You can see it on the metal. But I do coat the top with resin, so the top's nice and smooth. But to get the sides, it's kind of hard to get them all inside there. So there is still some roughness. And then even on the gate, you can see there's still some, stuff left over from the printing. I do resin coat the bottom half of it because that's the part you see. The top half's hidden in the top of the dungeon. So I usually don't coat that. But you can just see once the resin's on there, it just comes out so smooth. It does sometimes cause blobular clusters, like right here. You can see in this corner, it's not quite so sharp, but it does just look a lot better. I usually don't resin coat the back. on the insides, so that will still be the same. In fact, you'll notice on the inside of the dungeons, if you get one, oh, such a cool feature. Those who haven't seen it, is there's actually holes in the floor to match the spikes going in. That was a new feature I added on this this version of the dungeon. Which stinks for the first two guys that bought them because they didn't have the floor or the holes. The first two dungeons I sold just had the top half, and the very first one had the window built in, not a separate one. So, you know, as you slowly build more and more, you get better and better at it. But I think I've got it down pat, so the Origins one should stay the same way. All right. Oh, one last thing. If I ever do make another Classics one, it is the right size for the new Revelation figures too, because technically they are the same size. I thought they were bigger figures at first because He-Man was bigger, but since we got Man-at-Arms, we found out that actually they are the same scale as Classics, which actually makes them cooler than I thought they were, because He-Man's so tall, I just thought that was the base body of all of them, not realizing that he's supposed to be gigantuan, so I just didn't realize that wasn't going to be the base. But now that I know that Revelation is the same size as Classics, I'm actually a little more excited for Revelation than I was before. So, cool. All right, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and share this video around. And that's about it, you guys. You know what? I'm going to add a link in the description to my auctions so you guys can see them later as time goes on. So if you want to come back to this video and find that, I haven't added it yet. That way then you guys can go to my auctions if you want. And that's it. Bye, Dean. Thanks for watching, you guys. Bye now.